Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here for our special edition NFL Week 7 live edition. Any questions that you guys have for us, hit us in the comment section below. We'll answer all your NFL questions for about the next 20 minutes for Week 7 as we're leading up into lock. Real quick, before we really get going in this slate, one thing I do want to mention today's going to be a chalk slate like crazy. There's going to be some guys that are going to be crazy high owned. There's some obvious spots on this slate. Doesn't mean that you can't make some money. You can definitely still make some money, but you got to make sure and be doing your deep dives, and you got to figure out a couple guys to kind of differentiate yourself. But yeah, hey, how you doing out there, Jeremy?
What's up, man? Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Going. Still trying to wake up a little bit. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie. Busy week, but yeah, no. So I mean, we already got one question. Before we do get into these questions, though, do you got anything that you really want to just comment on about this week? Kind of help our viewers out a little bit. Something that you found during your research or anything like that?
First thing I'd say is there's a ton of information on our website, right? Make sure you go check that out. You got an hour and a half by the time we get up this. You have an hour before lock. All the active, inactive guys are now out. There's huge player pool, our player pool. We've broke down every position, and the guys are like every position. So make sure you check out all that content, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. So is there let's do it real quick. I'll give him one guy that I absolutely love that I think's a lock today, and you give him one lock today. How about we do that real quick? While we got a couple questions, pouring in. So I'll let you go first. You kind of let us know who you absolutely love and the reason why you feel that one person is a lock. And we're just doing one person each. So who you got for us to kind of get us started?
I mean, the obvious, right? Nick Chubb is chalk. He's a free square everywhere.
Yeah, if you don't have him in your lineup, then you're not doing it right. Straight up. I mean, it is what it is. I definitely think that Nick Chubb is going to be a chalk play today. And, one thing I do want to note, I already know this. I already know it's going to happen, bro. I'm going to have a lot of Baker Mayfield on this slate. And some people are going to hit me with are you crazy? We're playing Baker Mayfield today. But guess what? Baker Mayfield is in the absolute most optimal spot that there absolutely is. And if he busts today, he busts. You got to kind of just go down with it. It is what it is. And I honestly think he's going to be high owned. Just like, last week it was what's his name? Winston. Jameis Winston was chalk. And everybody was like, no, there's no way he's going to be chalk. He's barely coming back, etc. And sure enough, he was. I mean, it is what it is. And I think it's going to be the same way this week for Baker Mayfield. So we got one question. Before we do get to this one question, we got 15 viewers out there. If you guys got any questions, hit us in the comment section right now while we're getting through these questions. If, we don't have too many questions, and I don't mind getting off here quickly and getting my lineups done. So while we start with this first question, hit us in the comment section. Any question that you got on NFL Week 7 main slate, as we're, about an hour and a half, I'm heading into lock. So the one question that we do got is from Joshua Ellis. He said, who's y'all favorite plays at quarterback and at running back? So, I mean, if you want, you pick one position, I'll pick the other position, and probably just kind of give them three guys that we're liking. Just quickly kind of go through it. I mean, if you would, go ahead, pick whatever one you want and kind of get us started.
All right, I'll take quarterback. I love Tom Brady. I love Jared Goff, and I love Baker Mayfield. That's three guys. In our player pool on our website right now, I think we have 10, maybe 12. So there's some other guys in some good spots too, but I love Tom Brady. I think Jared Goff has a really good day today going against the 49ers. I think Tom Brady's got a full complement of weapons. I know Gronk is doubtful. I'm trying to pull up the active, inactive list right now because I know he didn't travel, so I'm sure they have him inactive.
Yeah, I'm like,
but that doesn't matter to me. He's got Josh Gordon. He's got Julian Edelman. He's got Chris Hogan still. He's got a ton of weapons. 300 3 straight games he's had 30 pass attempts, but 2 of them are 300-yard games. Jared Goff will bounce back against the 49ers, and you mentioned Baker Mayfield, who's just the absolute chalk.
Oh yeah, so Gronk, one of our viewers actually commented. So Gronk actually is out today.
Yeah, he didn't travel with them. So I mean, just waiting to see.
Okay. So real quick for me at running back, just to kind of answer Josh's question, there's 2 guys that I'm really, really liking. First thing first, I know you're gonna probably be like, duh. But I think Todd Gurley, you have to figure out a way to get this guy in your lineup. I mean, there's a ton of value on this slate to definitely fit him in. If you pair Todd Gurley with like a Nick Chubb, then that pretty much balances out. And I think that that's an easy way to get Todd Gurley. And I expect Todd Gurley and Chubb to be both very chalk for that simple fact. If you pair them together, it works. So I really like those 2 guys at running back. And the final guy that I'm going to go with at running back, we talked about him in our video earlier this week at running back. It's going to be LaShawn McCoy. We talked about it. I think, and Jeremy said the same exact thing as me, took the words right out of my mouth. We think that LaShawn McCoy is going to have a great week this week, right?
Yeah,
you still on that train?
I'm still on LaShawn McCoy. It's hard to I'll tell you what too. Melvin Gordon's out today, so I know that for the main slate it doesn't matter because that's the London game. But Austin Eckler, if he was on the slate, it would be really hard to pay up for any running back with the guys that were going to be available. But my point about McCoy is he's so lost in the shuffle. I mean, I think you get McCoy at a super low ownership. The Colts defense is going to be probably over-owned. Not saying the Colts defense isn't a good play. Not saying we're not going to have exposure to the Colts defense, but really Sean McCoy is all they've got offensively. Yeah, he's all they've got. And the Colts aren't, an undefeated team with a top 10 defense, right? They're the Colts still. So, yeah, I'm still all over LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, so I don't want to interrupt you. Just real quick, while we're on live for our members. So it just came in active. You got Julian Edelman, you got Gordon, and you got Michelle for the Patriots. They're all playing. So I just want to kind of just mention that it's something that we're definitely trying to get all this news as it come out. So perfect example, just like you mentioned, Tom Brady, he has all his weapons besides Gronk. It's officially confirmed. So definitely load up on some Tom Brady. I think he's a solid player today. So our next question is going to be Stuart Todd is asking, what about Clement at running back today? So for me, me and Jeremy actually talked about this last night when we were building our player pool. I don't know what to do with the Eagles running back situation because Clement and Smallwood, I mean, they're pretty much just splitting carries, splitting touches evenly down the middle. So it's like, I don't, if I was going to attack one of those guys, I'm not sure who I really want to attack because it's like, if I remember correctly, I don't have it up right now. I think it was Clement got more carries last week, but Smallwood had more production, or it was flip-flopped. It was something like that. And so for me, I'm not really on any of those Eagles running backs. What about you?
I'm not really on these guys either. That may be a good indicator that if you want to play them in tournaments, you can get them at a really decent, low-owned percentage. I just don't think that – I think this is one of those things to me where don't get cute when there's guys that are in really good situations who are going to see a really good workload today. What is Clement's price? That's how far off the radar he is for me. I'll look it up real quick. 6,000. So if I'm spending at 6,000, my favorite running back in the $6,000 tier we just mentioned is LaShawn McCoy.
Right. All right. So moving on to our next question. Oh, this is an easy one. Mr. Brian Fortson, he wants to know who we would stack Baker's Mayfield with. So for me, hey, I'm going to put you up on game, Brian, and you could just stake me later, okay? So the guy that I'm going to personally stack Baker Mayfield with, everybody's going to want to stack him with Landry, and stacking him with Landry is a good stack. Don't get me wrong. But for me, the stack that I'm going to go 100% lock, especially for my cash games, it's going to be Baker's Mayfield with the tight end Njoku. I think that they're the perfect stack. Njoku's a very fair price tag. Mayfield has been throwing to him a lot the past couple weeks. So if you're gonna stack anybody with Mayfield, for me, it's gonna be the tight end. And I mean, the only person that I feel you could really even consider outside of the tight end would be, a Jarvis Landry. What do you think about that situation?
Well, you have to mention Chubb because he's chalk, right? So Chubb's a perfect for me in tournaments. Chubb's a perfect flex guy, and then it's a matter of who am I going to stack him with next. I honestly think that Njoku is going to be the chalkiest play to stack him with easily, and I think that that's going to with the news of Carlos Hyde and then the chalk of Njoku. I think Jarvis Landry's ownership goes down today because people aren't going to want to play Chubb and Landry in the same lineup with Mayfield. People are going to want to play one or the other. That's just human nature and how this thing works. So for me, it's Landry. Landry was before all this happened, you look at our wide receiver video we did like Tuesday, Landry was one of my guys. So I'm sticking there with Landry.
I like it. I definitely like it. So the next one's not really a question. Dwayne Fortner's just kind of making a statement, but he said that he likes Dak today. That it's going to be high wins in that game, so he can see another game that Dak's going to do a lot on his feet. What do you think about that?
Well, the one thing that I see in that question is high win game. There's a few of them, right? There's a few of these high win games. One of them is the Jets and Vikings, and I think that Latavius Murray is a guy that's going to go under owned now because of
bro. All of a sudden, he's fallen out of a lot of people's favor. I was actually seeing that this morning as well. I was looking on, like on ESPN, they have that fantasy football live now or whatever. So I was checking some of that out, and they were off him. It's crazy because just a couple other.
Let me just tell you this, bro. Let me just tell you this. Let me just tell you this right here. So in this game, there's like 12 total inactive players for one. But on the Jets side, we know Anu was inactive. Okay, now their D tackle Foley Fatuksi is inactive. Tremaine Johnson is inactive at corner. Derek Jones inactive at corner. Marcus May, free safety, inactive. Kevin Pierre-Louis, linebacker, inactive. And they got a DB who's like a nickel DB, Buster Skrine, he's inactive. And then Isaiah Crowell is active. That's the only one from the injury report that's actually active. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on their defense are inactive today, right? So 20-mile-per-hour winds, sustained, 30-mile-per-hour gusts, right? 6 guys out of this defense are inactive, and people loved Latavius Murray on Monday and Tuesday, and then all of a sudden Dalvin Cook goes inactive, and they really love him on Wednesday. He's like going to be the chalk, and then Carlos Hyde gets traded, and now nobody remembers.
Right. Yeah. No, it's perfect. And it's like, hey, I'm still right there. I'm still there, bro, for sure. I'm still right there. So we got one more quick question. We got Stuart. Todd, he also wanted to know, what do we think about Gore against the Lions? Well, quickly, first thing I will say about it is, hey, Gore he's an ageless wonder. I mean, this dude, year after year, he just produces. And, he's actually had a solid start to the season. We didn't expect him to be kind of like the workhorse running back in Miami. We thought it was going to be Drake, right? That's the running back's name?
Kenyon Drake, yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be Drake, and Gore's the one. He's the one that's getting everything, and, he makes coaches feel comfortable giving him the ball. That's really what I got to say about Gore. I think he's in a solid spot against the Lions. Definitely a GPP play only. But I mean, I can see him getting a couple goal line carries, possibly sneaking in for a touchdown. I mean, he's definitely racking up some yards. So I think that he's a decent GPP play on this slate.
So on the video, right, one of us mentioned that there was a lot of running backs who were like 6,500 and below, and you start looking at the matchup, and the matchup's good, but they're not getting any carries. They're getting like between 10 and 15 carries. So if you want to spend $5,600 on Frank Gore to get 12 carries today and maybe a touchdown, then hey, by all means, knock yourself out. He's overpriced for what he's producing. I get that he's the ageless wonder. I get that he's playing well. I get that he had a 100-yard game against the Bears. He had 15 carries to get 100 yards, right? So with this game, this daily fantasy game, is about opportunity. Nick Chubb for 4,800 probably sees a little bit better, if not the same opportunity against a terrible defense. So Frank Gore is doing too much for me. And I'll give you guys a free pick here. Detroit coming off the bye is a super sneaky defense this week. Super sneaky tournament defense. We will have, both of us will have exposure to Detroit at 3,800 as a sneaky defense. I just don't think Frank Gore, you need to go there today. There's no reason to.
Right. Right. So our last question, Hugo wants to know lock bets of the day. I think we pretty much gave a couple locks. I started off. Well, Jeremy, you started off with Nick Chubb, correct? Was that your lock of the day?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. You got Nick Chubb, obvious play. We talked about him. Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley is an obvious play as well. There's a couple of really plays that you can look at. Some guys that I think that you really want to try to get in your lineup is one of those Rams receivers. I think that you really got to try to fit one of those receivers in, somebody from the Rams receiving core. That's really where I'm at. I'm not going to sit here and tell you my whole cash game lineup, but I definitely like some of those Rams receivers, like Nick Chubb, like Todd Gurley. Gotta like somebody, some guys, on the higher end of the wide receiver spectrum, get you a solid floor, such as like a Thielen or a Diggs, somebody like that. And that's really where I'm at with my locks. We got one more question. What about a stack from Winston, Barber, and Godwin? All cheap, and you can fill the rest with studs.
I do like Peyton Barber a lot at 6,100. He's one of the guys that I do like at that $6,000 price point. Good tournament play. If you're going to stack up, I'm not sure that I would go that contrarian in the stack. I'd probably, either go with Godwin and Winston, or go with Barber and Winston. And then if I was going to add a third piece to it, it would either be a Mike Evans or a Deshaun Jackson, because Deshaun Jackson is going to take the top off the defense. Mike Evans is going to get a lot of targets. You don't have to go that low owned. And when we talk about low owned and what you have to have to win tournaments, you can literally be chalky at 5 or 6 of the 9 spots and have 2 or 3 super low owned guys and win a tournament. You don't have to have 9 guys that are super low owned. So my point is that I don't think you have to stack up all 3 of those guys to have 2 low owned kind of contrarian pieces.
All right. So last question, Brendan Thomas. Do we like LaShawn McCoy or Latavius Murray in cash?
Murray.
Yeah, Murray for me as well. Cash, you got to go Murray. GPP, I think that McCoy is definitely a good pivot off of Murray for your cash games. And if we got no more questions, then I'm ready to get out of here, finish up my lineups, and have a good Sunday today. Hey, bro, last night, man, you got me thinking, and you were like, hey, I think you should do the 1 o'clock only slate for GPPs. So I ain't gonna lie, bro. Today, I got my lady's at work. Both of my kids are at their grandma's house. I'm literally solo bolo today, chilling all day. So guess what, bro? I went out, and I'm gonna play. I'm going to do the 25-cent max ender on the 1 p.m., the 4 p.m., doing it on the night game. Today, I'm just going to go wild on NFL, have some fun. I definitely think it's a week where we can get a little bit of an edge. There's not, so many of those dub plays on the little bit smaller slates. So, really quick, we got, is the wind enough of an issue to take out Vikes receivers? I'm still going to go with the Vikings receivers. Great spot. Obviously it could have a little bit of a factor in there, but for me, I'm still on them. What do you think about that real quick, Jeremy?
So you don't have to fully fade the passing attack in this game for the Minnesota Vikings, right? But here's what I would say. It doesn't change anything for Thielen, because he seems to be the guy who's the high target guy, and he's the guy that moves the chains. He'll catch the intermediate passing game. It may affect Diggs, because Diggs is definitely, a skinny 8 guy, a deep 9 guy. It may affect his targets, but that they could just throw a lot of screens in this game. They could throw quick slants. They could throw some wide receiver screens. They could do some other stuff to be creative. I just think that if you're going to take one guy out, take Diggs out.
Yeah, and so one more thing. I'll just mention really quick about Kirk Cousins. Don't get me wrong. Every quarterback is throws a decent ball. But Kirk Cousins is one of those guys. He's one of those top 5 guys in the league. The guy just has a cannon, bro. He slings the shit out the ball. He throws it super hard. He's not one of those guys who lobs the ball up a lot. He throws bullets. So it's like that's the kind of quarterback that you want in a kind of a win game compared to a guy who just lobs it up and he finesses the ball. That's not Kirk Cousins. He has a gun. So for me, I'm not really too worried about the situation, especially for Thielen. Like you said, if we're looking for the deep balls for Diggs, trying to get the big plays, maybe it's a little bit more risky. But for Thielen, the guy's just a monster. Plain and simple. I'm all over him. I love Thielen today.
The thing I get right is what's the guy's experience in situations. Kirk Cousins went to Michigan State, not the best weather in the world in Michigan, and he still threw for almost 10,000 yards in 4 years. So,
right. So
Wayne is not.
We got through all of our questions. I think I'm about ready to get out of here. Got to get these lineups done for the day and stuff. You got anything else to say, Jeremy? Are you ready to get this Sunday rolling?
I got to get my lines in. We got an hour.
Yep, we got an hour. So, hey, thank you guys for coming, checking out our show, NFL Live Week 7 edition. We'll actually probably try to get this going for you weekly. We like doing these live videos, answering questions for you. We also do them for NBA as well, 1 hour before main slate lock, Monday through Saturday. We're answering any NBA questions that you have for the slate. And, hey, talk to you guys later. Good luck today with your NFL lineups, and peace out.